We are the School of Soul, and I'm Ann Ridelfs.
I'm Deborah Shalette Wilson.
And I'm Kathy McCommon.
And today I'd like to talk to you about the full range of human development, so you really get the picture of the younger stages that are rigid, stiff, stuck in post-traumatic stress, and the fully alive, vibrant human beings who have evolved in their emotional and mental development. Who would like to go first, sharing what they see of this range of human development, human soul development?
Well, of course, we have that mineral stage that's rigid and everyone has to agree with them. And there's no flexibility, there's no emotion. Let's see, what else is there in that rock and mineral?
Well, going through the range, the opposite is the fluidity of being able to dance with whoever we're with, being able to see where they are in their development, who they are as a human being, and give them what they need to progress. The rock is all about maintaining people's structure so and they rules. Fit into their mold and they can control them, as opposed to the enlivening human being that wants people to grow, wants people to be all that they can be, has no interest in controlling them, wants them to thrive, be all that they can be as a divine spark having a human experience.
And then there's all kinds of different developmental stages along the way. So you could say we're kind of always in process if we choose to take growth as the way of our life, is that we grow from rigidity to maybe a little bit of flexibility, and then to where we can, I call it surfing through life. I didn't know I was I could learn to be a surfer, but is learning to surf through life at the different challenges that when people have challenges, a lot of the times if they're not very fluid, they really dig in, isolate, withdraw from life. And that's kind of sad to me.
And that's a good point. Again, looking at the continuum, the isolation, withdraw, as opposed to connecting, engaging, very different. And I want to say too that we're in different stages in all different aspects. And even a part of us physically, like if someone's completely deaf, well, that's the mineral stage in their ears. And that represents something inside them that will be stuck in the mineral stage. So we can interpret our body symptoms into what stage of development that represents, and then find that part inside of us.
Well, an example of that just came to my mind. I'm working with an eye doctor on visual therapy because I've got some issues with being able to see and depths and things like that. And so I was kind of looking at, okay, so what is it about my eyes? And, one of the things that came up is, given a lot of the things that I saw before, I was really prepared to integrate them, be able to process and integrate them. That kind of made sense to me. And, sometimes I don't want to see some of the things that are going out in the world because I can't really do anything about it. So there's just sometimes, I get into that place where I just don't want to go there.
And mineral stage, again, can't see, a rock can't see. They have their own agenda, they see their own structure, but compare that to the fully developed person who is able to perceive deep meaning, deep communication, and everything that's going on.
Well, to not just see the surface of things, but to see that there's something more in depth. And then also from this growth perspective, to look at what is it that I'm not seeing, that it may be something I need to look at in myself.
I think that is a very critical indication, not critical, but it is a very strong indication of someone who has reached the higher spiritual soul development levels. that they're able to look at the situation and then still be able to look inside themselves without judgment and with compassion and say, okay, what's going on in here? How did I attract that to my life? Is there something that I'm doing, saying, thinking, or being that is not going to bring to me this desire for this higher soul development? And when we can look at everything as not being an accident or not just being a coincidence, but actually being something that's occurring in our lives specifically for our own soul development, then the things that happen to us become more soulful. It's not something that's happening to us, but happening for us. And
good example, like the rock, everything's happening.
Mm-hmm.
I get an illness, it happened to me, rather than the more mature person. I've chosen this for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
It's a soul choice, whether it's conscious or unconscious, it's still a soul choice. And there must be something there for me, for my evolution.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, I had developed some leg problems, lymphatic problems, and I had swelling in my legs and, just a lot of discomfort. And when I began to start looking at it and, Anne was helpful with that, I realized that there were some areas that I was constricting myself in. And so the blood flow was not good. And I was an unconscious, I didn't realize my body said, no, you're not going to constrict yourself in that area, because if you do, it's going to be painful to you because it's not your soul path. And so all of these symptoms that we say that are going on in our bodies, it's just our body's communication and to help us with that path to soul growth.
Mm-hmm.
And again, the judgment of the younger stages, pain, bad,
Mm-hmm.
to
This shouldn't be happening to me.
right, to pain can be evolutionary. It's showing me some internal pain that I need to deal with. And when I do, I don't need that communication anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, and that though is it's a choice, that a person has to determine whether they're willing to, I guess, follow this path of growth and development and evolution. And the more that you choose that, then the more you can use everything that's happening in your life to take a pause, is what I call it, and look at it and see what is it reflecting in you before you deal with the external.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned choice. Again, younger stages of development, no choice, my way
Mm-hmm.
or the highway.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have the infinite choices. Every moment has so many choices, and the freedom in that, and wanting everyone to have that freedom.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, living in infinite possibilities instead of thinking, oh, this is, this tunnel vision that happens at those lower soul levels. This is the only thing there is. I have no other choices. Why is this happening to me? This shouldn't be happening. All the judgment and everything that goes with that. Once we're able to take those walls, those blinders that keep us from seeing the full picture, then everything opens up. The world becomes full of possibilities, and anything is possible in that stage of development. Wouldn't you agree?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And also the ever increasing awareness. The youngest stages are about, don't look there, don't do the research, just hear me.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to go anywhere else. To, look everywhere, research everywhere, just expand your mind, because there's so much around us in every moment
Mm-hmm.
that most of us have been taught not to pay attention to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, be that curious, open,
Child.
inquisitive. Yeah,
There's
child.
always more.
Integrating all our parts.
Mhm.
An inquisitive child that's eager to learn about their environment, their world, express their emotions, and embrace life.
And wants others in relationship to be part of that.
Mm-hmm.
How wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
And spirituality comes to mind too, in the sense that younger stages spirituality is very rigid, dogmatic,
Mm-hmm.
punishing God. as opposed to the older stages where it's evolutionary to reach for God. It's in the heart of us all. He is everywhere. How could he not be? And the only thing that's keeping us back from him is our own choices.
Yeah, very beautiful. That's beautiful. Yeah, that's right.
So it's so important to have this clear picture of the rigidity, the one way of the younger stages, and that expansive joining diversity, true diversity, not the phony diversity of the younger stages where you have the appearance of perhaps people from all over the world, but what they're saying is exactly the same. That's not diversity. Real diversity, where there's divine communication within all. So with that, thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you at the next video, I hope.